This is the Thriving Artist Podcast with Andrea Fleming, where we talk about how to go from surviving as an artist to thriving as an artist. Let's go.
Hey there, welcome back to the podcast. This week, I want to talk to you about dealing with rejection. I have a concept that I use when I am dealing with rejection myself that really helps me when I am in a low mood about an audition or a casting process, or when I know that I didn't do my best and I feel like I really messed up my opportunity. This concept helps me to snap out of any self-judgment, any self-doubt, beating myself up, any longer phases of emotional turmoil about messing up an audition or not getting cast or getting a callback in a show that I really wanted. And this is this concept of 1,000 opportunities. Now, I'm going to get into the concept of 1,000 opportunities, but I want to tell you where this concept comes from and why I use it. So this concept came to me because I realized that a lot of the reasons we have so much trouble dealing with rejection is because, especially as performers, we get into this habit of thinking that each audition we have is our one shot, right? Our one opportunity, and we can't throw away this one shot, right? Curse Lin-Manuel Miranda for coming up with a song that epitomizes this so that we can get it even more ingrained in our system. We think that when we go to auditions, this is our chance. This is my chance to show them. This is my chance to book Broadway. This is my chance to get my job and to get my health weeks or whatever it is that you're going for. We tend to view our casting process like that. And it makes sense that we do because we have to audition for every single job that we get. And we audition a lot more than we actually book jobs. So when we do audition for something, it feels so precious to us, especially when it's a role that we really, really like or material that we're really connected to or a show that's like a dream show. We get super, super attached to this casting process or to this opportunity that we have. But because we get so attached to it, it has this effect on us that we start to get a little bit clingy, or we start to get like tunnel visioned for it. So a lot of times we'll only be focused on this audition and we'll forego any other opportunities that we have, right? Or we'll like forget other things that are happening in our lives and we will only be thinking about this. We also might get into this mindset where we're like fantasizing and daydreaming about, oh, when I book this, I'm you're going to hear some of my ego talking now because I definitely had these moments and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Oh, I'm going to be able to show those people who doubted me when I booked this role, when I booked my Broadway debut, I'm going to be able to show those people. Or we start fantasizing about like, oh, this will set our career up for the next however many years. And because I booked this, I'll be able to book this next. And because I booked that, I'll get my Tony Award and all this stuff. Like we start fantasizing about what'll happen when we book it, right? That's a sign that we're super attached to it. We also might like be super, super critical and analytical of our preparation process. So as we're preparing, we might like be super hard on ourselves if we don't get something right away, or we might like be really frustrated if we are not memorizing our lines fast enough, or if we can't figure out our choices really quickly. Or we might even get frustrated at the time period we're given to prepare. And then in the audition process, we might be super, super critical and like combing through our auditions with a fine-tooth comb, looking for all of our weaknesses. And then we're not super present in the room. Then afterward, right, this is where we get into the rejection. It's like, even if we don't hear back right away, we are obsessed with one, finding out the casting. Like, I don't know if you go on Backstage Community, but we're into the community room looking at audition update and like looking at the casting call or the callback room. And we're like, okay, did anybody get an offer yet? Did anybody get a callback yet? Bump, bump, bump. I see this all the time. Like people bumping the same day that they had the audition multiple times. I'm like, y'all, They literally just auditioned us. They haven't even looked through their notes yet. They haven't even gotten to their emails yet. They're still probably auditioning people. They're not even thinking about you, right? So like we do that. We like get super obsessed, or we're already down on ourselves because we're thinking, oh, I could have done better. I know that I messed that up. I know I didn't do my best, right? And we're beating ourselves up and we're like getting in a slump about it, right? So this all comes from being so attached to this one opportunity because we think it's our only shot, or we think this is our one shot. This is our best chance. Like we have to get this. If we don't get it, it's like do it or nothing, like, or bust. Like, I don't know what the term is. Like, what is the term is, like, get it or bust. I don't know. I'm not good at like all these terms and all the slangs and the things that you kids talk about. But anyway, so that's where this concept comes from. It comes from the idea that we tend to get into this mindset where we are super attached, like this is our one shot, and we become super obsessed and just tunnel visioned on this one opportunity, thinking that it's the only one. But the reality is that it's not, right? The reality is that there really are thousands of opportunities waiting for you every single day, right? There's always auditions being posted, whether you look on Actors Access, Backstage, or what are the other ones, Playbill, or the Actors Equity account, or the SAG account, right? There's always auditions and castings being posted. Why? Because there's always new projects being made. And we can always count on that because producers want to make money. Producers always want the next thing that's going to make them the next dollar. So they're always scouting for new opportunities. There's always writers creating new pieces of film, new pieces of theater, right? There's always hopeful writers hoping that their thing will get picked up. So they're always going to be pushing their pieces to casting directors, right? When one show closes, there has to be another one to take the spot in the theater. When what the producer finishes and wraps one film, they're on to their next project, right? Not only that, especially if you're in theater, when you think about a show that's long running on Broadway, we forget that people leave those jobs. We forget that even when it's already cast, even when it's already been cast from the round that you might have auditioned in, they're still going to be needing replacements in the future. They're still going to be needing vacation swings. They're still going to be needing regular swings, right? So we forget that in reality, even though our world is revolving around this one opportunity that we get, the rest of the world is not. The rest of the world is moving on to the next opportunity. And it's usually by the thousands. Now, for some of you, you may not be able to wrap your mind around thousands of opportunities coming your way on a daily basis. For me, it works really, really well. But for you, maybe you want to start with thinking of hundreds of opportunities. There's hundreds of opportunities coming your way, or even 50 opportunities coming your way in the next week or month, right? Maybe that is more accessible to you. If it is, what does it feel like for you to be able to imagine more opportunities coming your way? What happens in your mind? Does your mind start to calm down? Do you start to think about those opportunities? Do you start to get motivated even to start working on those opportunities? What happens in your body? Do you feel your muscles start to relax? Do you feel your emotional state changing? Do you feel your breathing start to go deeper and slower? What I notice is I end up not obsessing over this one opportunity as much as I do, right? I still hold space for it. If I haven't heard back about the casting process, I might even still feel a little disappointed if I have heard back about the casting process and I didn't get it. But what I don't do is stay obsessed about it. In fact, a lot of times I end up feeling super motivated to move on to creating my next opportunity or finding my next opportunity. What is that like for you? I want you to spend some time thinking about this, maybe even you journaling about it. What does it feel like in your body? And what do you want to do when you start thinking about 1,000 opportunities waiting for you or 50 opportunities waiting for you? And I want you to practice visualizing that and getting into that emotional and nervous system state a few times throughout the week. And notice what it does for you when you do show up for your next auditions. Does it change the way that you think about your preparation? Does it change the way that you show up and walk into the room? Does it change the way you perform in your audition? And does it change the after period of after you audition or after you do your callback. How do you handle if you hear back about casting at all, right? Sometimes we don't even hear back about casting. If you hear back about casting, or you check the casting website, or you check the Instagram of the theater, or you see a playbill announcement, how does it impact your emotional response to that? Sometimes you don't even feel disappointed after. I noticed that, like, there are some auditions where I start to get super obsessed with and attached with, and like super down on myself about if I don't do my best. And then after going through this exercise, I realized, oh, wait a second. I actually am not as excited about this opportunity as I thought. I might feel a little bummed that I didn't do my best, but I'm like, I actually didn't want it as much as I thought I did. I just thought I wanted it because I thought it was my one opportunity. So sometimes you might notice that you aren't even as disappointed as you were originally. And sometimes you might still be disappointed, but it doesn't feel as heavy and you don't dwell on it as much. So I want you to practice this as you go throughout your week. Maybe as you go throughout the next audition, pilot season is here right now. Theater audition season is happening right now. See how it impacts you this season, to think of your opportunities as not being your one shot, but as being 1 of 1,000. And then let me know how it goes. All right, I'll see you in the next one.